Hello everybody, this is D10 Megas XLR, and today in this video I will show you how to build your own Lego Megas XLR Part 2. Now, I did make a video several years ago, almost 10 years ago in fact, where I showed off how to build your own Lego Megas. Wasn't the best video out there, but it was one of the most popular videos on this channel, and in retrospect, it's not the best video, so hopefully today I'll be able to answer all of your questions on how to build your own Megas, both the new version and I'll also break down the older version, comparing and contrasting almost 10 years of, this Megas design. So let's get right into it. So with this new Megas design, I focused on getting a lot of, the detail right, as you can see with the flames on the sides of the legs and various other areas. Try to get a lot of proportions right, as well as getting a lot of articulation, and also making it very sturdy so that you can pose it and do all sorts of stuff with it. I think it did a really nice job. It's certainly a vast improvement over the previous design. And there you have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the build of this Megas, as well as I'm going to bring out the old design to help compare. Here we go. This is the old design of Megas. Now you may be asking yourself, why does he look like scrap? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Had to salvage a lot of parts from this Megas to put into this Megas. So please ignore all of the miscoloring, and you kind of get the idea of the original build that I had for Megas, just to compare it with this new design. Let's go ahead and pose him. So the design, or at least the basics, have remained largely the same from both versions. Both use a lot of ratchet joints, both have sort of the same kind of design aesthetic, share the same kind of build. I mean, just from a general look, it's a huge improvement. Huge improvement all around. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start breaking down some of this. We'll start with the feet. One of the biggest upgrades and one of the most welcome improvements is the ankles. Let's see here. Stay. Good. This is the old foot here. Focus, camera. Camera doesn't really want to focus with me. Anyway, you just got this basic little hinge joint right here. And that's it. It makes it rather difficult to pose. There's no side tilt, and depending on how you pose it, it can really weaken the joint, and as you can see, is really wobbly, whereas this one, it's got some really nice ratchet joints. It's a little hard to see, but you can go forward and back, twist it from side to side, and you do have that ankle tilt. You also do have this sort of foot guard, ankle guard, not quite sure what it's called, but it does add a little bit of personality to it. And it does still allow for some movement. And of course, as soon as you start tilting the foot, it looks kind of weird. But hey, more articulation the better. As for the foot design, I basically have a bunch of connections on the bottom. Bunch of studs on the sides, and they just attach to studs on the bottom. And there you go with that. Whereas with this, is just kind of a big block. Now as far as the shins go, the major difference is just the kind of parts used. You see it's just a bunch of ratchet joints, and I had to build around it. Whereas with the new design, I have a bunch of end pieces. I don't have like the full male-female kind of connectors. I just have parts with just one connection to it, and it allows me to make the body however long or short I need it to. The hip joints, nothing really new there. Again, I do have pieces missing from this, so it's not 100%, but you get the idea. Moving on to the torso area. Obviously, again, as you can see, there's a huge difference in proportions and whatnot. Now, both of them do share a spine that goes through them. And what I mean by that is I have basically a Technic pin that runs through each of them to, help keep them sturdy. The difference with this Megas is that you have this plate right here, and the pin only goes through like about halfway. Whereas with the new Megas design, go ahead and take some of this stuff out. He has a Technic pin running through the whole center. The only flaw that I've had with this new Megas design is that he's still kind of flimsy, or a little weak, not really flimsy, around the waist connection. But as you can see, it's still pretty tight even without this this piece sort of locking it in. As you can kind of see, I do have a Technic pin, focus camera, running all the way through. And it stops at this Technic brick, which is it's got pins on the sides that are connected to these two shoulder joints right here, these 2x2 ratchet joints. And by having that, it makes everything very sturdy, very interconnected. I also have these Technic plates, these 2x4 plates with holes in them, and that helps to intertwine everything throughout the body. It does make everything very strong. Ah, I'm dropping pieces everywhere. Welcome to Lego. Okay. Alright, let's head around to the back. A major detail upgrade, as you can kind of see, is the wing design on the back. It's a huge improvement over the old one. And as I said, please ignore the discoloration. Why won't this camera focus? Major upgrade right there. Another thing is you've got the two jets on the back. Now, trying to make the angles accurate to the show, this is what I came up with initially. It's nice. It's at a very interesting angle, but it's rather flimsy and such, whereas this one, it's just held in by a little mini gun that's attached like a peg. And you also have a brick there with a side stud that allows you to rotate the jets up and down. Alright, let's come to the head design. Nothing has really changed between them. The only thing is the wheels on the bottom. And I decided to take them off with the new version. It kind of looks out of place when you think about it, but I tried to capture that car look, and having the wheels up like that just kind of made it feel a little off. Alright. I do also want to point out the very blocky torso compared to this very detailed, very streamlined kind of design. Alright, so let's head on to the shoulders. Now with the new design, I basically just have a stud right there that just connects everything. And then the shoulder itself just kind of encloses around it. It's a little looser than I'd like, but it does allow Megas to do all sorts of things. New poses and whatnot. It's very, very nice. Whereas with the old design, I basically have the same 2x2 ratchet brick right there, the same one that's right there. But at the time, I was limited to what parts I had available. So I just had to use something like this, and honestly, this is a pretty awkward way to support a lot of it. So I had to put it inward like this. And that's just what I did at the time. And, you know, honestly, this does look a lot better with where the joint is compared to having to stick it out on the side. But yeah, the old Megas can only go this way. Whereas with this one, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the arms. Now, with the old Megas design, I had the same kind of hinge plate, or hinge joint, that I had with the ankles. And in this situation, it does work. Gives you a lot of range of motion. You got that swivel and such. I was originally going to have it with this new design. Once I got around to building the arm, you know, factors like it's a lot bigger, it's heavier, and especially when you get into weapon attachments, it just really didn't work out. There was just not enough strength in that joint, so I switched it to a ratchet, and it does make things a lot better. And honestly, having all the joints the same makes everything look nice and clean and uniform. As I said, it makes things a lot stronger, a lot easier to use. Another thing, we've got the flame decals. We've got a bit of a facelift there. I also have it on the back side, whereas I didn't have it on the previous version. Let's look at the hands. Now with the old hands, it was just a kind of a blocky sort of hand. It uses this tiny little thumb on a little hinge. And then it uses minifigure feet. So you did have, you know, 2 points of articulation, but just the way it was designed, it's not a really great fist, and besides it's half of the arm, so once he, you know, launches his fist, it's a fist with half an arm on it. Whereas with the new design, loads of articulation. You got individual fingers, each with their own little hinge. They all use the same sort of joint. It's not super loose, but it does allow for a lot of, you know, easy posing. I also got a thumb here on a little swivel, so there's a lot of neat poses that you can do with the hand. And you also have this hand swivel. Just goes right on there. And yeah, that would be the basic designs of both of them. Very nice stuff. Very nice stuff. So that will be it as far as comparing the new Megas with the old one. So next. So you finally finished building your Lego Megas. And with a few extra pieces, you can build Mecha Megas. Basically the same design, same build as Megas. Obviously with a few different tweaks because it is a different robot. We'll just go through them. As I said, same kind of joint system, whatnot. Mecha Megas has a bit more of an industrial feel to him. That's just the impression I got from the show. So he's got a lot of panels and all sorts of stuff going through there. So the difference, we've got the foot here. It's got a interesting toe design. It doesn't have that foot guard kind of thing, so he has just a bit more articulation. Let's go on to the back. The only difference is he's got a different kind of backpack in between the wings. Let's move on to the head. Come on, camera. Focus. It's a really just simple design. You have just basically a stack of these 1x2 bricks with one stud. There you go. As for the fist, it's got a sort of like a glorfed three-handed fist. Just combined the two fingers. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. That about does it. Just kind of a different color scheme, and just a few minor changes. But it all uses the same kind of design, same kind of build as Megas. So there you go. Alright, so lastly, we've got weapon attachments. So the first thing is not a weapon attachment. It's actually the championship belt. Just uses a bunch of hinges and attaches to the studs on the side of here. There you go. Megas the champ. Pretty good stuff. That just comes off all nice like. Okay, so to go along with the championship belt, we have several different chest plates. This just comes, my goodness, that just comes right off. And we've got the jammer, basically just a giant speaker system. You got a little microphone right there. Pretty neat stuff. Okay. Next, we have the wave motion gun from the first episode. And just to point out, these little flat things are intended to be his chest opening up. Pretty cool. Alright. Next and last, we have this whole bunch of missiles coming out of his chest. I believe this is from the TV dinner episode. Get in the camera. Pretty good stuff. Alright, we'll just leave that on for now. Next, we've got some shin plates. These just come right off. Missiles! And it's got these flaps on the side to make it look like the shins are opening up. Alright, next, we got even more missiles. Just on a little side plate there, and they just attach right onto the shoulders. Alright, on the back here, we can take these little tiles off, attach even more guns. Alright, now we can take these side panels off. Add in some more missiles. We can take this piece off and throw in these arm cannons. Now this is the point where having that elbow joint be a ratchet is really helpful. And naturally, we get the same thing on the other side. Just take these off. And there we go. It's ready to dish out some pain. Awesome looking stuff. Alright. So that is not it. We still have a few more things to attach. Okay, so next we've got this weapon from the first episode. I don't believe it was named, but it sort of just comes out of Megas' arm. We got the sort of the flaps from the side of Megas opening up. It was like a pixelizer gun. Pretty cool. Okay. Alright, next we have this buzzsaw from the Thanksgiving episode. Really simple little weapon right there. Okay, and this wasn't really in Megas, but I thought it was very appropriate. We've got a flamethrower. Pretty simple little design. You have a side plate right here. Got a Technic pin running through this. Got one of these plates. All just attached with these kinds of pieces. And there you go. Pretty cool stuff. Looks a little better on this arm. Just put these panels back on. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Okay. Now we have just some... Oop, put that on wrong. Now we just have some wrist cannons. We start off with these Glorf style hand cannon machine guns. Pretty cool looking things. Now, as I said, Mecha Megas and Megas share the same build, so he can use all of these weapons. Granted, some of them have blue accent on them and such, but nevertheless, Mecha Megas can use all of these weapons. Just gonna take some of these off. And let's just go ahead and remove the chest plate. Put the old one back on. Excellent. Alright, so next. Okay, next we've got chainsaw. Pretty neat little weapon, and of course I've got two of them. Just uses a bunch of side studs. There you go. Yeah, Megas is ready to carve up that turkey. Very nice looking. Okay, lastly for the hand cannons. Now this isn't from Megas, but I thought it was very appropriate. We have the Pacific Rim Plasma Cannon. Pretty nice little design. And of course, I've got another one. Pretty cool. Fun fact, in the show, Megas is said to be 80 feet tall. And I believe Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim is about 300 to 400 feet tall. So, you know, a fight between those two just really wouldn't happen. But hey, you know, this still looks really cool. Alright, and then lastly, we've got a flame sword. Pretty nice. This is my own design. The one in the show is just kind of like an arrow. Just literally just kind of like an arrow kind of thing. But, you know, I like this a little bit better. You've got this panel on the side that just attaches to the backs, or the front of the fingers. And there you go. Yeah, the sword is rather heavy, and it really puts a lot of strain. Well, not really strain. It makes the wrist kind of loose, but hey, it does look really, really cool. Yeah. No, no. Finger came off. Now you can swap this around and have it on the other hand, but I usually just keep it on this side. And that would be it. That is how to build your own Lego Megas XLR. Now, as a special treat, I will include in the description the Lego Digital Designer files for how to build your own Lego Megas. And in that file, you'll also find Mecha Megas and the old design of Megas. Not sure why you would want to build that one. This one is so much better. So much better, in fact, that I can barely get the old design into the frame. Also in the description, there is a link to an image gallery of Megas and Mecha Megas, so go ahead and check that out too. But anyway, there you go. Thank you guys for watching. I'm not quite sure what my next Lego project will be, but I will be sure to let you guys know. And again, thank you for watching, and you guys take care. See ya.